We're just doing a little sports talk today. Going to cover the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs, and much more on this cast. Okay, so let's jump right in. Yesterday, NBA playoffs return after that day off Thursday. We have the Sixers. They get a game. They beat the Heat 99-79. Tyrese Maxey, 21 points. Jimmy Butler had 33 points, 9 rebounds. Meaning he had 33 of the Heat, 79 points. Man, those other guys in the Heat really got to step up. Joel Embiid came back after missing the first 2 games. He had a face mask on to protect the orbital fracture and the concussion he suffered in the first-round series against the Toronto Raptors. And I'm not sure what he did offensively, but he was a lock defensively. In the first half, the Heat were 3 of 11 when he was the primary defender. That continued into the second half. He played great defensively. Kudos to the Sixers for stepping up. Guys like Tyrese Maxey for stepping up in the series in the game 3. So Heat lead down to 2-1. Mavericks also got a game against Phoenix. Dallas wins 103-94. Luka 26 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists. Suns actually got 19 points from Jay Crowder, but Chris Paul and Devin Booker struggled. Dallas played really well defensively. That's what they're going to have to do if they want to have a shot in this series. They're going to have to limit Devin Booker and Chris Paul. And they got say, all right, we're going to let Mikal Bridges or Cameron Johnson beat us. Otherwise, they're just going to get torched every single night. So that's the NBA playoffs. As for today, we got 3:30 Eastern Time on ABC, Celtics-Bucks. Game 3, that series is tied at 1 game apiece. Then we got 8:30 on ABC, we got Grizzlies and Warriors. Game 3, that series is tied at 1 apiece. Grizzlies will not have Dillon Brooks in that game. He's suspended for Game 3 for the flagrant 2 that resulted in him being thrown out of the game in Game 2. I'll pick my winners for tonight. I'm going to pick Boston tonight. I think without Chris Middleton, that makes a huge difference. So I have the Celtics winning that series. So I have the Celtics winning Game 3. Grizzlies Warriors. I'm really rooting for the Grizzlies. I would like to see them win. I think they have a real good shot to win this series. I boldly picked them to win the series prior to the series and prior to the postseason starting. But without Dillon Brooks, that's a huge loss. Dillon Brooks is a really good player. Great defender. He can shoot. He can score. That's going to be a big loss for the Memphis Grizzlies. So I'll take Golden State to win Game 3. So that's NBA. Playoffs, second round continue. NHL, the playoffs are continuing. The first round for the NHL playoffs. Last night we had the Bruins beat the Hurricanes 4-2. Carolina's lead down to 2-1. Maple Leafs beat the Lightning 5-2. They're up 2-1. Maple Leafs have a real shot in that series. They have not won a Stanley Cup in, I believe, 54 years or something like that. 1967. They have not won a first-round playoff series in a long time either. They are known as the Chokers, but they're up 2-1 on the Lightning. They've scored 5 goals twice in this series. Wild beat the Blues 5-1. They lead the Blues 2-1. Craig Kaprizov continues to play well in that series, and the Oilers dropped 8 on the King. Oilers win 8-2. They lead that series 2-1. Matt just wrote, repeat, not looking good for Tampa. Yeah. I don't even think they're going to get even that close to the Stanley Cup final. They're a very good team this year, but didn't win the Atlantic. Going to finish 5th in the East. Although the East is stacked this year, they should still finish with, I think, like 108 points, which is still a really good mark. Other years, that could have been like top 3 in the Eastern Conference, but the East don't quite have it that they had the last year. The last year, they definitely had it, especially last year when they played a full season. The year before was in the pandemic season, so they don't quite have it this year when it comes to winning the Stanley Cup. They might. I pick them to win the series. I still do think they'll win the series. I just don't trust the Toronto Maple Leafs, and Tampa's got so much experience, and they are still a really good team. But Stanley Cup is looking a little bleak this year for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Right now we got Capitals and Panthers alive. Capitals lead the Panthers 2-1 in Game 3. Second period has about 2.5 minutes left, a little bit less than that. We got the Avalanche and the Predators at 4:30 Eastern Time on TNT. Avalanche are up 2-0. At 7 o'clock on TNT, Rangers and Penguins. Game 3, series tied at 1 game apiece. Penguins, third-string goaltender Louis Domingue making his second straight start. Casey Smith, their backup, is out for the rest of the series. He had core muscle surgery the other day for an injury he suffered in Game 1. And their starter, who's an all-star this year, Tristan Jarry, remains out with an upper body injury. So that's what's going on for the Rangers and Penguins series. And then we got the nightcap tonight. Flames and Stars at 9:30, also on TNT. That series is tied at 1 game apiece. That's what we got for the NHL. Swap back to NBA. We got a lot of head coaching interviews going on. Kings appear to be zoning in on Mark Jackson. They really want Mark Jackson, former head coach for the Golden State Warriors. He's been an announcer for, I believe, ESPN for NBA for quite a while. He actually just interviewed with the Los Angeles Lakers, of course, looking for a new head coach. In my opinion, LeBron James is basically their coach, but that's another story for another day. But Mark Jackson has interviewed to be the new coach of the Lakers. They also will be interested in Quinn Snyder, it appears, if the Utah Jazz will let him go. Haven't heard much about that yet, about Quinn Snyder being let go. But I wouldn't be surprised if they were to fire him. I think they need a change. I could see them trading at least one of Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert this offseason. But nothing yet. At this point, they might just be keeping him. If they haven't made a move yet, this will be a little bit late to make a move. I mean, playoffs is still going on. But you got the Kings are, the AP are almost done with their search. Lakers are doing their head coach search. Charlotte is looking for a new coach. So, you never know if another team will pop up. So, it might be a little late at this point. But, yeah, Lakers interviewed Mark Jackson. He's a finalist for the Kings job, along with Steve Clifford, former head coach for the Hornets and the Magic, and there's somebody else as well. Now, Darvin Ham, the top assistant for Milwaukee Bucks, has been a top candidate for NBA head coach jobs for quite a while now. He's done some interviews, so we'll see if he's able to get a job. But Sacramento's looking for a new coach. Los Angeles Lakers looking for a new coach. The Charlotte Hornets are looking for a new coach as well. I think that's it. Yeah. That's it. As for the NHL, the Flyers did not bring back interim head coach Mike Yeo, so the Flyers will be looking for a new head coach. I'm not sure what names they have in mind, but Flyers fired Alain Vigneault earlier in the year, and then they decided not to keep interim coach Mike Yeo, which I agree with. He did honestly worse. They look lifeless under Mike Yeo, who I never thought was that good of a coach. He was a head coach, I think, in St. Louis at one point. I didn't think he was that great. So he will not come back for the Philadelphia Flyers, who have a lot of decisions to make this offseason. What direction they want to go. They're a really tough year. And now it's 3-1. Thank you, Matt. It is now 3-1. Capitals, they might be able to pull off an upset. I don't know. They got a shot. Florida's got the best record in the National Hockey League. I don't think it'll happen. If they go up 2-1, and they'll have game 4 tomorrow, which will be in Washington, you never know. They got a lot of experience from the greatest goal scorer in the history of the league, Alex Ovechkin. They're a good hockey team. So that's what we got for the head coaching front. NBA and the NHL. I'm not sure what other NHL head coaching change will happen in the NHL. Yeah, Bruce Boudreau is the interim coach for Vancouver. I haven't heard officially whether they're going to bring him back or let him go, but I would think they'd bring him back. They did really well under him. I thought he did a good job. I've always thought he's a decent head coach, so you could do worse. I would think he would stay, but we'll see what happens. That's what we got for the NHL, MLB scores from last night. We had the White Sox over the Red Sox 4-2. Brewers over the Braves 6-3. Twins over the Athletics 2-1. Astros over the Tigers 3-2. Angels over the Nationals 3-0. Rays over the Mariners 8-7. Diamondbacks over the Rockies 4-1. Padres over the Marlins 3-2. And the Cardinals over the Giants 3-2. As for today, Mets and Phillies were postponed yesterday, got postponed again today. It's been a lot of rain going on. I'm in New York, and there's been a lot of rain, basically since yesterday. We've had at least a day and a half straight of rain. They're playing in Philadelphia, but Philly's not that far from New York, so the weather is probably pretty similar. In the top of the sum right now, we have the Pirates and Reds tied 2. The bottom of the 5th, Dodgers lead the Cubs 4-0. A's, Twins, scores top of the 2nd. Blue Jays, Guardians, scores top of the 2nd. 4:05 Eastern, we got Tigers and Astros. 4:10, White Sox and Red Sox, Battle of the Sox. 5:45, Blue Jays and Guardians. 6:40, Pirates and Reds. 7:05, Royals and Orioles. 7:15, Cardinals and Giants. 7:20, Brewers and Braves. Dodgers and Cubs. That's at 7:40. 8:10, Rockies and Diamondbacks. 8:40, Marlins and Padres. 9:07, Nationals and Angels. And 9:10, Rays and Mariners. That's what we got for baseball. Still early on, but Twins look really good at 16-11. If the Yankees are playing well, Rays are hot right now. Toronto's playing some good baseball. Angels look really good. They're 18-10 right now. The Mets I'm very happy with my Mets so far. They have, I believe, actually the Brewers are a half game better than them right now. Brewers are playing great. Mets still have the second best record in the MLB, so I'm very happy with them. Cardinals are playing well, 16-10, second in their division. Dodgers are the top of their division, no surprise. San Diego is playing well. Had some disappointment as well. The Red Sox are really struggling right now at 10, I think 10-17. You're 10-17. They're struggling right now. Cincinnati Reds have been egregiously bad. They are 3-22, lost 9 in a row. Worst team in baseball. They have looked absolutely terrible. They've been bad. I did not know a team could be that bad. That's pretty bad. We got a golf tournament going on right now. The Wells Fargo Championship. Today is Saturday. So today is moving day at the Wells Fargo Championship. Max Homa is 7 under par. He is the leader. Pretty early on in day 3. Jason Day is off to an awful start. He is 5 over through his first 5 holes. He has fallen to 5 under and is 2 shots off the lead. He's still right there, but the top 4 right now, you got Max Homa at 7 under. He's leading. He's even par through 5, and then Luke List is 2 back. Jason Day is 2 back, and James Hahn is 2 back. They're playing in Maryland, so there may be some rain, which may be why the scores are a little bit lower today. Matt got out Joey Votto, yes. He deserves a better. He's had a great career. He's only been to the playoffs probably a few times, and that ain't gonna happen this year. That team is so bad, the Cincinnati Reds. But yeah, the rain may have something to do with the Wells Fargo Championship score being a little bit lower today. Yeah, it's a bunch of high scores, like really good scores. Obviously, golf, you want the score to be low. That's why it's -7, -5. But yeah, the scores won't be as good today, probably because of the rain, I assume. It's raining in New York. It appears to be raining in Philly because the Mets game is postponed. Probably is raining in Maryland. So we got Max Homa at 7 under par. Lucas at 5 under par. Jason Day at 5 under and James Hahn at 5 under. And you look at their scores. Through 5, Max Homa's at even par. We got Luke List is a shot over. Jason Day is 5 over already. He's having a disastrous outing. And James Holland's a shot over par through 6 holes. So that's what we got for golf. Welcome in Smooth Milk. We're live on Colorcast. Of course, we're also live on YouTube. Welcome in Smooth Milk. He's my guy. He comes on a lot. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well. Smooth, your Tigers are off to a bit of a tough start. I know it's early, but they right now are 8-17. They are struggling a bit. I believe they may still be have Casey Mize, which could be part of it. And Smooth wants the mic, so let's bring him on as speaker. I would have a lot of fun with him, so let's throw him on as speaker. We're on Talking Sports with Jake. We're talking about the Wells Fargo Championship. We're also talking about the Detroit, because that's Smooth Milk's team.
Oh, yeah. What up? Take the snake in the house. Mr. Electricity has arrived. What's up, my brother?
Smooth, how we doing?
Doing great, my brother. How are you?
Good. I'm home now. I just finished my semester, so I'm home now.
Nice. Congrats, buddy. Congrats.
Thank you.
You're welcome. By the way, my son is one of the most electric men on Colorcast. Love him. Love him. Hey, I've been busy with work, man, like nonstop for like literally 3 weeks straight. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's been nuts. So, what to start? First of all, I love this time of year, obviously for the NBA playoffs, but also the NHL playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I did stay up and watch the Rangers Pittsburgh game,
Yeah.
3 overtime classic.
Oh my God.
Oh, that was amazing, dude. That's what I love about playoff hockey. It is so, especially it gets in overtime, dude. The intensity and and it just turns up another level. Like, I don't know if anybody in the right mind could actually watch regular season hockey, then watch the playoffs and say, oh, it's no big deal. Dude, the playoffs are just amazing. It's just awesome. And then the NBA playoffs last night, Philly winning a game, I obviously Joel Embiid helping them, getting back in the lineup is huge. I mean, because they're not beating Miami without him.
No way.
By far. No way. And then the Dallas series with Phoenix. You know what? I think people are kind of selling Dallas a little short.
Mm-hmm.
I think they can make it a series against Phoenix. I really do. Do I think they could win the series against Phoenix? At the end of the day, no. But I think it's going to go at least 6. It could go 7. I mean, Luka Doncic is one of the best players in the game. He can go off for 30 or 40 a night. And, then you got then Brunson's on fire, dude. This is why the playoffs are so great, dude, because guys that don't really play well in the regular season, or you really kind of don't hear about them, and then the playoffs roll around, you're like, who's this dude? and it's like, oh, he's been there, man. He just, regular season's so different than playoffs. And you had mentioned my Tigers. First of all, they can't hit the ball. Oh, their runs scored in Major League Baseball, I think they're the lowest in the league.
Wow.
Seriously, I'm not kidding. And like half their pitchers are on the DL.
Yeah.
Manning is hurt. Casey Mize is hurt. And so they're bringing like Willie Peralta, who looks like 300 pounds, like a CC Sabathia, but right-handed instead of left-handed. Seriously. And then like they can't hit the ball. And then when they do, like they play defense, they just throw the ball over the place. Like they played against Minnesota during the week this week. Dude, I've never seen it where like literally they look like Little League baseball. It's sad, but I mean, I think did I have high hopes on the Tigers to be well? Yeah, but I also said this: if the Tigers come out to a really slow start, they're going to be in trouble. And guess what? They're at a really slow start right now. And if they don't get it together quickly, they're out before May 15th. I mean, you might as well not even bother. And then everybody here in Detroit will talk about, oh, how great the Lions are looking for the draft and this, that, and the other thing after the draft. Dude, and that's my other beef. Jeez, oh, Pete, man. Are you serious right now? You gave away 3 draft picks for a wide receiver that tore his ACL last year. What are you doing? Seriously? I don't want to hear he's the best player available. No, he wasn't. There's other guys you could have picked in that spot, and not number 12, but you could have kept your picks and gotten some I think personally some players that will help your team going forward. And I just don't think it's typical Lions, dude. We call it SOL, same old Lions. It is. It's same old Lions. Dude, another dumb fucking move. I'm surprised they didn't take Malik Willis in the first round. I'm like, oh my God, here we go. But, hey, so how are things in New York, dude? I see that the Yankees have been winning a bunch in a row. The Mets look good.
Yeah, now they're playing great. They look like a real baseball team finally. That's what happens when you have a real manager and owner who actually spends money in the top of the front office. And, allow them to steer. Yankees also look really good. They've won 11 of their last 12 or something like that.
Bringing Buck Showalter to the Mets as a manager was a genius move. People knocked it down because he's so old. How can he relate to the younger guys? Guys like Francisco Lindor, they gravitate to those guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they really do. Because look at Lindor; he's playing great, man.
Yeah,
he's hitting the ball. He's playing good defense. They got a lineup, man, and they got some pitchers. Obviously Scherzer, but there's other guys, And I think the Mets are going to be a team to reckon in the East this year. And I think the Yankees, obviously, with the Yankees, you're in a really, really tough division, obviously, because you got Boston, Tampa, and Toronto. And you better win as many games as you can because even though you might win 95 games, you might not make the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy about that division. So, what else is good, my man? What did you think of the Giants and the Jets with their draft pick?
I like what both teams did. I really like what my Jets did. I just they got 3 top 15 players in the first round, which I thought was really good. You got Sauce Gardner, who I think is a great player. He's a really good corner. You got Beaver Wilson. I really like. People say some stuff about like size and his measurements, but last 2 years the receiver has been so deep. So I think he'll definitely work out. He had 12 touchdowns in a very competitive offense. I really like Jermaine Johnson. Fits Salas really well. He's a really good player. And I like some of the other guys they draft. I like Hall, a running back.
I like the
tackle.
I like the fact that they didn't go out and mortgage the future for that shiny toy known as Deebo Samuel. And everybody and their mother was like, "Oh, the Jets should take him, or the Giants should take him." I like the fact that no one made a move on that guy because teams do that, man. They always he doesn't want to be there anyways. He wants to be traded. But I love the fact that they didn't take the shiny new toy, man. They're like, hey, we're gonna just stay in the process. Now, obviously, the Jets haven't been really good in years now. Neither have the Giants, but maybe they're on the right path to doing something this year. Obviously, the Giants are going to be maybe 5-win team, maybe 6. Maybe. I think the Jets are going to be in that same boat, 5 wins, maybe 6. But it's something to build on. I mean, first of all, Daniel Jones shouldn't be the quarterback. We don't know that. But what else are you going to do,
Yeah, Matt just wrote, Giants have their approaches, in quotes, $1 million receiving corps that scored just 5 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, well, that Detroit pretty much gave you the best wide receiver that we supposedly had for, hey, you can have him, go ahead, and he didn't do a whole lot of anything. And I do like the direction that the Giants and the Jets are going. Will they be a better team this year? I think so. I think they'll be better. I think they'll be a +3 win team over last year. I think the Lions are going in the right direction too. They can win 5 games, maybe 6, but that's it. I mean, if you're putting your horses on those 3 teams to make the playoffs, then you might as well just give your money to me and call it a day.
Yeah.
It's not happening. It's really not. I mean, there's so many. Well, look at it. The Giants have Dallas, which by far, and the Eagles with the upgrade of A.J. Brown in the receiving corps. Anybody see that coming? Nope. Nobody. No single person. I don't care if your name's Adam Schefter or Joe Lombardi or whoever. No one in their right mind saw that coming. Nobody. So the Giants are going to be better. I'm sorry, the Eagles are going to be better this year. The Giants are going to be a little better. That Washington football team, I think, is still going to be pretty good. I mean, they're an 8-win team, maybe a 9-win team. I like the fact they went and got Carson Wentz. They need a quarterback, obviously, because Tyler Heineke's not the guy. And then they had really nobody. So I think they made a smart move. Is Carson Wentz the Carson Wentz of when he was in Philly? No. But Carson Wentz needs to be a game manager, not try to force the issue. And that's what happened in Indy. He tried to force the issue. There were so many plays he tried to make something out of nothing, and that cost the Colts games. And then the coup de grace was when they played the Jaguars last game of the season. They couldn't beat the Jaguars. Oh, my God. I was like, really? Good thing no one put any money on that game. And if you did, you're an idiot because you got your ass kicked. Sorry. So this is, honestly, man, this is actually, like I said, one of the best times of the year. It's so much going on. And then the weather's getting nice. Here in Detroit, it's 70 degrees and beautiful. It was really kind of crummy here on Wednesday, but it started getting better. Yesterday it rained. It was really yucky yesterday, but today it's just gorgeous. Tomorrow's going to be even better. So don't worry, man. I'm going to bring some sunshine your way.
Please do. It's raining right now, but that weather that you have in Detroit should be coming starting tomorrow, so that's a good thing.
Coming. Be
Yep.
patient, my brother.
Yep, it's coming slowly but surely. When the weather's been pretty good, we just have a couple of down days with the rain these last couple of days.
Yeah. So what's going on? What are you most interested in tonight? I like the fact that now. Did you give any updates on the NHL? I know there's a playoff game in the NHL right now, right? And then there's a game in the NBA right now too.
Yeah, right now Washington leads Florida through 2 periods, 3-1. As for the NBA, let's see, is there a game on right now? First game's at 3:30.
There might be.
Boston and Milwaukee start at 3:30, so about 30 minutes.
Okay. And you said the Capitals are leading the Panthers right now?
Yep.
Wouldn't that be some poop if the Capitals win that series?
That would be crazy.
That would be, because Florida was probably one of the best top 5 teams in the league going into the playoffs. Right there with Colorado, who's just dominant. Yep. Tampa, again, who's dominant. But the Maple Leafs, dude, could the Maple Leafs actually win a playoff game, a playoff series?
I have a shot.
They'd have a good shot, which is crazy. Hey, somebody, by the way, asked a question in the chat. They said, what's your thoughts on Dan Campbell? I like Dan Campbell. I like Brad Holmes, the general manager of the Lions, who used to be the assistant general manager for the Rams. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that they're starting to build a culture there, and they're not. See, the thing is, and the Raiders are going to find out the hard way. The Patriot way is not necessarily the right way.
Yep.
Because the Patriot way is that new kind of shiny toy that kind of like, ooh, if they can do it, why can't we do it? Well, there's a reason why other teams can't do it. The Lions tried to do the Patriot way. It didn't work. God. There's been other teams in the league who've tried to do it. You can't. It's a special, first of all, you have to have a special coach. Bill Belichick is that coach. And you have to have a special type of owner in Robert Kraft. Well, the Ford family's not even close. They're garbage. And I think now that you're finally, they're finally saying patience is the key. And I think Lions fans are just kind of going, okay, we need to be patient. We've been patient for 50 years, but at least we see a light at the end of the tunnel. And I hope that answered your question. But I want to preface it by this. I went to the last Lions home game of the year against Green Bay last year. Aaron Rodgers played a half. Jordan Love played the other half. Lights was almost sold out, which is crazy, being the Lions were so bad, right?
Yeah.
But the vibe in that stadium, Jake, was like different than something I've ever seen before. Like no one had the whole paper bag thing going. No one was really talking garbage about the Lions. They were actually, I hate
Wow.
to say it, optimistic. They were like, okay, we can kind of see flashes. Like
Yes, he
St. Brown
is.
is a really good wide receiver. I think if you have a healthy DeAndre Swift, you have a good running back. And Jared Goff's, Jared Goff's obviously not the future there, but he's a game manager. He can throw the little 5, 6, 7, 8 yard pass play, right? He's just a game manager. And I think you really, no offense, in this day and era of the NFL, your quarterback needs to manage the game. There's only certain special quarterbacks that don't fit that mold. One's Patrick Mahomes. Two is, I think, Lamar Jackson. Deshaun Watson would be another one. But those guys they break the mold. But here's the crazy thing. Most of those quarterbacks that like to run a lot don't do well in certain situations, with the exception of Patrick Mahomes. Like Lamar Jackson has, how many playoff games has Lamar Jackson won?
One.
Right, one. How many games did Deshaun Watson won? One?
He's got one or two, maybe.
One or two. But that's the difference. Then you look at pocket passing quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Drew Brees when Drew Brees was in the league. Let me think. I think Dak Prescott would fit that mold a little bit. I'm just thinking off the top of my head here. Stafford. I hate to say it, but Stafford's in that mold where they're pretty much pocket quarterbacks. They're not trying to force it downfield, make something out of nothing. They're taking what the defense gives them, and that's the difference between an elite quarterback and a quarterback that, to me, is just average. I mean, an elite quarterback sees what the defense is giving him, and then boom, they're hitting him on that little 5-yard slant, 6-yard slant, and they're letting the receivers do the work. Like Cooper Kupp is a perfect example of that. Tampa with Evans and Rashard Perryman, Devontae Rogers, and now in Vegas with the Raiders. When he was with Green Bay, Devontae Rogers really didn't run any deep routes.
Devontae
You
Adams.
notice that? Devontae Adams. I'm sorry. Devontae Adams really didn't run deep routes. He really didn't. He ran 6, 7 yard, 8, pass 8 yards, and then turn, go, boom, hit it, go. So I think that's the key that I think people need to understand going forward. They really do.
We got Pat Rush coming on the hot seat, by the way.
Yeah, Mr. Michigan's in the house.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is, Mr. Sparty.
We're
By the way,
right now.
When you said Mr. Michigan, I was like, you know what,
he's ready to throw
you're the
up.
Wolverine dude. You and Roman are the Wolverine dudes.
Hey,
I'm the Sparty guy.
by the way, Jake, I think Patrick and myself are gonna do color cast from the draft in Detroit.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh, you mean my dad? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think that would be fair. Like I'm sure color cast will still be around in 2 years.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's the plan so far, Jake, is to have me and Patrick Rush and his dad do the color cast from the draft.
At the NBA draft?
No,
the
NFL,
NFL
because
draft.
they're having it in Michigan, my friend.
What year is that?
I don't know, but I'm just gonna
2024.
I'm gonna lobby hard for my dad and myself to go, and then a Smooth Milk to just hold him accountable to going, and then we're gonna do a draft cast live from Detroit.
Wow.
Live from the draft. Yep. Yeah, it's in 2 years. It's 2024. So hopefully Patrick still likes me then.
Well, hopefully this app's around by then.
Yeah, that's that too. We need that. You're the CEO, man. Come on, dude.
No, Evan Kirkham's the CEO, and he does a great job. He's from
CEO.
Austin,
Don't
Texas.
tell part CEO, Patrick Rush. So what's going on, brother?
I actually just want to talk about Jason Tatum, which is weird. Is he all NBA first team? I think so.
You want me to take that, or you got to take?
Because he proved enough. I think he's proven enough.
We can both take that, but my first team, he'll obviously be in the front court. I think that Embiid and Nikola Jokic got to be there. And then that third front court spot, I would probably give it to Giannis. So I would say he's on the second team.
Okay, but what about moving him to the shooting guard?
That's what I was just.
If you say the shooting guard, then I would probably give it to him.
Yeah. I would say he's first team, along with Luka Doncic, and in that same guard category. Chris Paul's, you got to put Chris Paul in there.
That's fair.
Ja.
I think Ja. Yeah, you definitely got to put Ja in there. Steph Curry, you got to put him in there.
Steph Curry's like second,
Uh,
maybe.
Second, really?
I love Curry. I'm wearing a Draymond Green
I do.
jersey shirt right now, but like,
Mm.
yeah, but like,
I hate Draymond Green. I'm sorry.
Not a fan.
if he's on one of your teams, you would like him.
I thought Pat's the Michigan State guy.
Well, he's a Sparty guy. I know. I just realized that. I'm like, oh, Sparty. Well, no, you're right. He's the. Here's a name that throw out to you. He's the Brad Marchand of the NBA. You would love to have him on your team, but you hate him if he's not on your team.
That's a good analogy for him, but he's starting to get more
Brad.
respect. I think he could be one of the top 5 best defenders of his generation.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely. He's kind of like the later version of, not necessarily like the style and pizzazz, but kind of like a later version of Dennis Rodman, if you really want to think about it.
With a more like well even killed personality.
Right.
Yeah.
Draymond actually has a brain and Dennis Rodman doesn't.
That's true.
Yeah. Because Dennis got his brains rattled a zillion times by something. But no, Draymond,
drugs and rock and roll with him.
I would say Draymond top 10 of this decade, sure. Or the past, like, say, I don't know if you want to go back 5 years. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I agree, 100%. So, hey, Patrick? What do you think of the NBA playoffs so far? I think they're pretty predictable. Some teams are going to win games at home, like Dallas last night winning, Philly winning at home last night. So going forward, how do you see the series that are currently going? How do you think they're going? How do you think they're going to end up? And do you see something that may surprise you?
But okay, it's not going to surprise me, but it's going to surprise a lot of people who think that the Bucks are the team to get through. It's going to be Celtics versus Heat. So 1 versus 2, Eastern Conference Finals, and you're going to have a 1 versus 3 Western Conference Finals with the Phoenix Suns respectively and the Golden State Warriors respectively. Going down to the finals, that's going to be a hard one to determine because I know the Heat have a lot of intangible benefits with a deep roster, but I think it could be actually Heat versus Golden State.
But so my questions, I want to question it on the Golden State Memphis series and the Boston Milwaukee series. Are you basing the Boston beating Milwaukee because Boston has home court advantage, or are you just, if you look at both rosters, do you see Boston beating Milwaukee in a 7-game series?
I see the later, not the former. The home court advantage is a really good point you made, which actually kind of bolsters the argument a little bit. But I just think in a 7-game series, that defense is a buzzsaw. That defense blocked Kevin Durant. That defense could make a wall around Giannis and dare him to shoot. That defense is just preternaturally gifted.
Yeah, also, Chris Middleton's not playing in the series, so I would probably say Boston wins that series just because Middleton's not there.
Good. That makes sense. But I like the thing that I told Jake earlier is in the playoffs, you have players that step up that usually aren't necessarily there in the regular season. So you have, like, last year, perfect example. In Milwaukee, you had PJ Tucker. He played lights out in the playoffs. A guy like Drew Holiday, another guy. And then this year you have guys like Brooks for Memphis. You got Wiggins for the Golden State. There's guys that don't put up the huge numbers in the regular season, but when it comes down to playoff time, they turn it up. Like Brunson for the Mavericks is the guy. I mean, no one saw him putting 30-something up in a series, and he's doing it, like, not say regularly, but he's making a difference. And I think when you get into a 7-game series, you're right, exactly, Patrick, in the fact that you're forcing Giannis to make other players beat you. Because if you put a wall so Giannis can't go through it, Giannis is going to have to dump the ball off to somebody, and they're going to have to make the shot.
Yes, sir. And that's my. It's really hard because I have so much respect for Milwaukee, but yeah, like honestly, they're shorthanded without their clear-cut second best player, in Chris Middleton, who alleviates a lot of pressure from Giannis, and that in and of itself, I think, is enough to give the Celtics a bit of an edge. I'm gonna be covering that game today with Cap in about 14 minutes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I haven't done a
That is-
Saturday thing on this app probably since you and I casted that one baseball game.
Oh yeah, that's right. I haven't been here, and I haven't been on this app in a couple weeks. It's just very sparingly because of work. Like I was telling Jake, it's literally super busy right now. What I'm doing teaching wise, it is just insane right now.
Where are you teaching
So
it?
I teach pickleball out in Ann Arbor.
No shit. Do you ever play
So
tennis?
Yeah, I played tennis when I was in high school and college.
Oh, that's what's up. I love tennis. That's my favorite sport to play. My favorite sport to watch is football and basketball. American football, of course. But
Well, I thought you were talking about soccer. No, I know.
Yeah, really. But
Just say,
some of my
whoa.
friends, I have to make that distinction.
Whoa.
I don't like when people call it football, but no, it's soccer. It should be called football, but we call it soccer, so it's soccer.
So have you guys watched any USFL games recently or no?
I have not. Have you, Jake?
I have not watched any USFL.
I watched a couple, and that just looks like, no offense, guys, it looks like garbage football. Seriously. There's probably maybe one guy that could make an NFL roster. I'm not saying he's like a PJ Walker when he was in the XFL, but the best player in that league right now is a quarterback for the New Orleans Breakers. Life of me, I can't remember his name. But there's a reason why these guys aren't playing in the NFL. You can just watch it and go, oh boy. Yeah, it's ugly football. I would totally be surprised, guys, if it lasts a year. If it lasts the end of the year and they come back next year, I would be totally impressed.
But thank you for having me on the hot seat. I appreciate it.
Of course, Pat, thank you for coming on. You ever want back, feel free. Let's just recap everything we talked about. You were talking about the NHL, how the Capitals have a shot to beat the Panthers in this series, it looks like. With 12 and a half or so left in the third period. We got Washington leading Florida 3-1. So they got a good shot to win that game. They go up 2-1. They still got one more game in Washington. So they could have a shot. Talking about the USFL, in the new football league, it was around in the 80s. It had some success. Then you had the whole thing with Donald Trump before he became the figure he is now. He was just at that point just some rich guy, and he kind of screwed the league over. It came back this year, and it's been okay. Some people like it, some people don't like it. I haven't watched too much of it. I don't mind it. Kind of cool. Maybe some guys will be able to get an NFL job because of it. We'll see. They got some interesting rules in that league. But if they're gonna compete with the NFL, I don't think they'll be able to do that. At least not yet. But if they just want to play it in the spring, I don't think that's an issue. Honestly, I think it could be. I think it could survive as a spring football league for a couple of years at least, and then once they build something up, maybe they could go from there. So that's why those are my thoughts on the USFL. But yeah, we got Celtics Bucks starting in a few minutes. About 10 minutes, that game gets underway. Got the two best series for the conference semifinals on today. Celtics Bucks at 3:30 on ABC. Also on ABC at 8:30, Grizzlies and Warriors. That's good. And that's right. Cap said he's going to cast that game. Him and Pat Rush are going to be casting that game. Don't miss that cast. That should be a lot of fun. If he has any other thoughts, going to be an interesting offseason in the NBA. We got some coaching changes that are going to be happening. You got I don't know about the free agent market. Zach LaVine, the free agent, he'll probably resign in Chicago. Kyrie could opt out, but either way, whether he opts in or out, probably goes back to Brooklyn. Harden's probably going to go back to Philly. He might just exercise his player option. I mean, it's over $40 million. So, and at this point, the way he's looked there, him being out of shape, once again struggling in the playoffs, he might as well just take his money and see if he can get in shape next year. See if he can become the best Harden he can be, and then go out in 2 years. And if he can get another max contract, get it. But if not, just take what he can get. Because I'm not sure if this version of Harden is what he's going to be. Because even the year plus he was in Brooklyn, year and a half or so he was in Brooklyn, he was not the same Harden. I think he averaged 22 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. So he was more of a second or third option, really good facilitator. But he was not the the absolute beast he was in Houston, and he has not been that guy at all in Philly, especially in the postseason. So that's my thoughts on him. Trade market could be interesting in Utah. Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert. What happens there? All right, Smooth. You got anything else you want to bring up?
Well, you know what? By the way, hey, it was always great seeing Patrick. Hey, I see Cap's in the house, right?
I believe he is. Yes, he is.
All right, what's up, Cap? Miss that dude. All right, hey, I'm really excited. So real quick, are you thinking about ending everything right now? Is that what you're doing?
I don't really care, but I'll go as long as you and I keep great conversation.
Okay, all right. So let's see. Hold on, real quick. I gotta look at something while we're doing this. So the Capitals lead 3-1. They're in the second, third? Yeah, third.
It's the third
So
period, yeah.
they're going to be up 2-1. Hopefully, we'll see. So who do you got tonight? Avalanche Predators, Game 3 in Nashville.
I got Colorado. I don't see
You do
Nashville
too.
winning a game in this series. Colorado's just too
Right.
overpowering.
Well, yeah, Nashville has no goalie. Like literally, their main
Yeah.
goalie's hurt. Saros is out
Mm-hmm.
again. So Rangers Penguins, which I think is the marquee series in the first round by far, because both teams are really good. So I want to lean towards the Rangers to win Game 3.
I hope the Rangers win it. The Rangers win as a Ranger fan. I do think they will win. They also have injuries to their goaltender, Pittsburgh Penguins.
Right.
Louis Domingue is starting. He gave up 5 goals, but he really didn't play bad at all. Considering the circumstances, he actually played pretty well. Rangers had a lot of
Yes.
shots on him, but he just... That way, it's now 4-1 Cap, so that game looks over. But
Yes.
with Louis Domingue, I understand Pittsburgh not want to rush Tristan Jerry back because he is a really good goalie. He's still young, and it's 1-1. So if they were to win, now you could either bring Jerry back in Game 4 and try to close it out, or if you want, start Domingue again. In worst case, you go back to New York at 2-2, and then you bring Jerry back for Game 5, which is probably around the plan all along. Mike Sullivan, their head coach, said later in the series we could see Tristan Jerry,
Right.
but I do think the Rangers win the series because the Penguins will not win the series with their third string goalie, not against the Rangers.
Right. Right. I think this series actually goes 7. Because I think both, barring the goaltender situation, I think both teams are very evenly matched. There's really no huge difference. Like you look at the Avalanche against the Predators, obviously it's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Not only with goaltending, but their starting lineup. Like you got McKinnon and Landesberg and all these other guys that are just rolling. And my boy Darren Helm's on the Colorado Avalanche. I didn't even know that. I was watching the game the other day. I'm like,
I know
Darren Helm's on the Avalanche, former Red Wing, former Stanley Cup champ. And then the Flames and the Stars, which I would say he's got to be touching early 30s, late 20s, early 30s. He's got to be somewhere in there. And then the Flames and the Stars. I think this series is going to go 7. Both teams are very underrated, and they're both very good. And Dallas is making a series out of it because they're just being physical with Calgary. And I think Calgary's not used to playing a physical type team. And Dallas just punches you in the mouth over and over again. And if you get up, hang another round, you got a chance. But I don't see I see this series going 7. And I think Calgary wins it overall because they're just going to figure it out in the end. Or there's going to be some kind of, you know how it is. It's always that fluke goal in overtime or that one puck that gets redirected 3 different directions and it goes in the net. So tonight, I think the Stars win at home, but I think Calgary overall wins this series. I think that's going to be a really, really good series. And then in the NBA tonight, you got only 2 games. Okay. So I know that Cap and Patrick are doing Celtics Bucks at 3:30. Check them out. They do a really good job.
What's they do?
I think Milwaukee's winning that game tonight. It's a home game. I'm just going to take the home team. I think the Bucks come out with the crowd noise and get ramped up. Could I see the Celtics win this series? Yeah, actually I could. I really could. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think it's surprised anybody. But at the same token, my money's still on Milwaukee to win the series. I just find there's going to be that one guy that really isn't going to come off the bench, give you some buckets late in the game or in that middle time where Giannis is resting or Drew Holiday's resting. Watch out for Brook Lopez too. Don't sleep on that dude. That guy can score some buckets. I'm not saying he's going to score a lot, but he can give you some at opportune times. So I would like to take the Bucks tonight in this game, and I think they're going to overall win the series in 7. I think the Celtics are just going to – they do play defense. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league. But I just think Milwaukee's going to find a way to break down the wall of Giannis and just kind of hopefully get some players around him to start putting some buckets in. You need Holiday and Lopez and some other guys to really step up here. Because if you don't, you're not winning. But I think they're going to win. And then the Grizzlies and Warriors tonight, I think that's another really good matchup. I think overall experience leans towards the Warriors in this series. And I love John Morant. Dude, that guy is a freaking beast. And he, slam dunks over people. Dude, I love it. I was watching the first round against Minnesota. By the way, the Timberwolves gave that one away. Don't come on here and tell me that Memphis beat them. No, Minnesota beat themselves. Because Minnesota had not one, not two, but three, but four 10-digit point leads going into a fourth quarter, not only in one game, but two. And they had a 20-point lead at one time in one game. You got to put them away, and that's an experience right there by Minnesota. But I think the Warriors are just more experienced in this type of moment. You got guys that have been around the block, like Steph and Clay and Draymond, and I think some of the youngsters in Golden State, Tyronn Poole. Poole's another guy that no one thinks
Jordan
that
Poole,
he's
yeah.
yeah. Oh, okay. But the guy can put up 20 points a night. And that's the thing that you got to understand is the playoffs are a different breed than the regular season. That's why, if you ever notice in the regular season, some guys really don't try. They really don't. And they're not given the minutes because it's a regular season. So you're trying to get the wins, so you can be in a playoff position or in a position to, let's say, have home court advantage or whatever. Then it gets down to the nitty gritty. And you got guys that are, your 6th, 7th, 8th guy off the bench putting some points up, and they're doing it consistently. It's not like they're not like doing anything. They're playing hard, and they're out hustling, out defending. Excuse me, because every possession in the NBA counts in the playoffs, especially in the playoffs. God almighty, because if you're not scoring buckets, you're not winning. If you're not playing defense, you're definitely not winning.
Yeah, you gotta play defense. You gotta play defense in the playoffs in the NBA. Obviously, you have to hit shots. You always have to hit shots. Regular season, postseason, any level, doesn't matter what time of year it is. You always gotta be able to hit shots, but you also gotta be able to defend. I had a guy named No Punts on my show a few days ago, and he said that he mentioned, yes, you gotta be able to hit shots. The best shooting teams are going to go far. But it's also about not only guys that can make their threes, but teams that can defend the three as well are teams that
Right.
have a lot of success.
What about guys? Here's the other crazy stat that people don't realize. How about free throws?
Yes.
If you're not hitting free throws, that's trouble. And you better hit your free throws, especially late in games when they foul you. I mean, if you're not hitting free throws, you're just giving the team an opportunity to put a chance to score. So I like those games. And then tomorrow, what do we have? Are you going to be on tomorrow too or no? Mother's
I
Day.
think so.
All right.
I might not, but I might. I'm not sure.
Okay. So if we recap tomorrow, Sens and Mavericks, that's 3:30, and then at 8 o'clock is Heat Sixers. I think the Heat win Game 4 tomorrow in Philly, go up 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it, I'm not a fan of the Sixers.
I'm not
I
either.
think they got motivated and got gelled up last night because Joel Embiid was back. But I think they come down to realization tomorrow night. I think the Heat just do something different. They make adjustments, and then they win. And I think the Suns win in Dallas tomorrow night. So both series should go 3-1 going into Tuesday night for sure. I could venture to say that for sure. And then the NHL, what do you got tomorrow here? 4 games tomorrow. You got Hurricanes, Bruins. I think that's a 7-game series. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are undervaluing Boston right now. And Boston's been there, done that. They got the guys on that roster that can make things happen. Wild Blues, I think, you know what? And I hate to say it, I think Minnesota's beating St. Louis in this series. Even though both teams don't like each other, I think this may be Minnesota's year to finally figure it out because they never get far. They usually falter in the first round, maybe second round. But I think they just play a real gritty style of hockey and a real tough style that is very hard to play against in the playoffs. And I think the Lightning beat the Maple Leafs tomorrow. They figure it out and they tie it up at 2. And I think that series goes 7. Oilers Kings. Edmonton stealing a game in Game 3 last night in LA. I think they're going to steal the series now. And I think they're beating LA in 5 because I think that was a backbreaker for LA last night. You had that series tied at 1 in your own building in Game 3, and you lose. Wait a minute. What was the score? Oh, I know, 8-2.
Ouch.
And then the other night on Wednesday, they beat them 6-0. So you've given up 14 goals in 2 games in the playoffs. That's unheard of. So 14, Jake, 14 goals in 2 games. Most
That's
teams don't
bad.
score. Most teams don't score 14 goals in a series, and you're doing that in 2 games. Seriously, it's like, holy crap. Where's your defense? Where's your goaltending? This is why LA doesn't win the series. Edmonton's got too much firepower, too many guys that can score. Connor McDavid, Draisaitl, Nurse. You got them all up and down that lineup. And then Edmonton's goaltending is starting to turn around a little bit too, which is nice. So I see Edmonton winning this series, and give it to me in like 5. I think LA's done. I think that broke their back last night, and they're not coming back. I would be totally shocked and surprised if LA won another game this series. Seriously, because you gave up 14 goals in 2 games. I mean, that's crazy talk. This is playoff hockey, man. You got to literally play defense. You got to stop pucks. You got to, play defense. You got to block shots. You got to do the extra little thing in the playoffs. Because if you don't, you're not winning. And LA's not winning.
Yeah. I did pick the Kings to win the series at the beginning because of their experience. And I still trust Edmonton to win a first-round playoff series. The Atlanta Thrashers have won a playoff series more recent than the Oilers, and the Thrashers have not been a team in like 15 years.
Oh,
But
love me some Atlanta Thrashers.
but right now, Edmonton's looking like they're going to take that now. They just can't be stopped right now.
No, they just have too much firepower. They have too much goal scoring and too much firepower for them to lose to LA. I mean, if you're getting off 30, 40 plus shots a game and you're scoring, hate to say it, 7 goals a game in an average, that's yikes, to say the least.
Yeah.
So that's it for me, buddy. I'm glad you're doing well. You're at home, safe with the family, and that's it for me, man. That's all I got. That's all I got, man. My 45 minutes of glory and fame are done.
That sounds good, Smooth. Thank you so much for coming on. We talked about a lot of cool stuff today. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, baseball, hockey, anything you can think of. We talked about the Wells Fargo. And that's all we got for you today. Thank you, Smooth, again for coming on and joining me. Thank you, Pat Rush, for hopping on. Thank you, Cap. Thank you, Matt Sirianni. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. Probably going to take the day off tomorrow. It's Mother's Day. So since I won't see you guys tomorrow, happy Mother's Day to everybody. Hope you all have a great day tomorrow. I will be back Monday. Until then, so long and have a great day.
Peace.